Sam from the LC here, live from the Minnesota State Fair. How about this, guys? New beer is like a new experience, and with every new beer in your life, you got to experience new things. I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone today. I'm gonna go on the ejection seat, the slingshot. I've never done it in my life, but guess what, guys? It's all about new experiences. Today is about new experiences. I told you that we got something special coming for you. Well, here it is. Hey, it's Aaron from the LC. We're live from the Minnesota State Fair here today. Having a great time. I told you guys earlier, drinking new beers, all about new experiences. And what we're doing here today is we're trying new experiences. You guys saw me lift off on that slingshot earlier. Well, it's a different type of slingshot I got going on here. This is Summit Pale Ale, Summit on a stick. And there's 3 different brews here. This is from Summit Brewing Company out of St. Paul, Minnesota. They've won quite a few beers around, quite a few awards on their beers around the world over the last couple years. One of my favorite beer companies that there is. I will say one thing, I have not tried a beer of theirs that I don't like. But what we have here today at the State Fair, we have ourselves a Saga. It's an IPA, it's an India Pale Ale. I'm gonna go ahead and review all of these. I'm gonna give a little more shorter notes on this because I don't have a lot of time. I don't wanna make this drawn out, I just wanna have some fun and just show off what they have here at the State Fair. So, first we have is our Saga IPA. Saga, this rolls in at 6.5 ABV, alcohol by volume, and this has 80 IBUs. Jam-packed full of hops. It's supposed to be one of their hoppier beers. My favorite type of beer. Let me just give it a little sniff and see what we got going on here. Okay, right off the bat I get grapefruit, apricot. Oh, I mean a little citrus hoppy flavor, some pininess that we get from the notes that come from those, my guess is Cascade hops. I don't know for sure. We'll see. Let me go ahead and put a taste on this. I like it. You know what? It's 80 IBUs. It's dry. It's definitely dry to start, dry to finish. But it's not antisocial, so to speak. You know, sometimes you drink these beers and it's just too much. You take 2 sips and you set it down for 5 minutes. This one I feel like I want to take another sip right away. It does, and it's got piney. It's piney more than citrusy with this one. I think it has to do with those hops. If I was to say that this beer reminds me of one thing, I'd say this reminds me of back when I used to work at my old job. I'd get off a hard day at work, and I would go home, and I would crack a big, Summit was my favorite beer, and I would crack one of these beers, and it's a stress reliever. It makes me feel less stressed to drink this beer. Even though I'm not at work, I'm at a very festive occasion here. Yet, something is very relaxing about this beer, so I'm gonna set it down, we'll try next here. The other one here is Extra Pale Ale. This is an Extra Pale Ale. This right here is the first beer that I've ever tried from Summit in my life. It's kind of hard to get out of here. Get out of there. There we go. Okay. Extra Pale Ale. Most ales that are pale are IPAs, India Pale Ales. What makes the Extra Pale Ale? You know what, I think it's a little less on the IBUs. I think we're rolling in at about 60 with these IBUs on here. The alcohol percentage of about 5.2, which is a lot less than your average IPA. Put a nose on it. Yeah, I can tell right off the bat, the hop level is just, it's not crawling out of that glass. It's there, but it's not too much. I can't tell that this is over hopped. Well, that might be an oxymoron to some of us. Over hopped, no such thing. All right. Yeah, guys, it's really light. I mean, I'm not picking up much. Hold on, let me see what I can pick up. I pick up a slight maltiness. There's a slight hoppiness, but the cow shit. I think oh, that's coming from the barn over there. Sorry, that's a different story. A little bit of deep fried bacon. Oh, that's over there too. We're at the fair right now, guys. This is really hard to detect notes in the beer when you got the wind blowing in this direction and all sorts of unknown things coming from that way. All right, let's go ahead and give it a taste. Okay, what I did not expect with that one, although I've had this beer plenty of times before, is compared to the Saga, man, it's almost a light beer, although you can see the color. The color is darker. It's darker than that Saga, but yet it has a lighter flavor. My guess would be they probably toasted some of the barley in there a little bit, because I wouldn't say it has coffee notes, but it's definitely not hoppy like the other one. So coffee versus hoppy, I would say more coffee. It's very, very good, very smooth. Recommend it very much. Very much in the middle of both of what these are. Okay. The next one we have over here is called the Merger. I don't know why they call it the Merger. I hope they're not planning on switching companies, because if they do that, I might not buy their beer anymore. Summit Merger, 80 IBUs. I don't know what they're doing. It must be a Minnesota thing with these guys when they're IBUs. Intense bitter unit. I know it's international, but it's intense because it's 80. It's too much for some. Not for me though. Oh yeah, you guys, you can just smell it crawling out of that glass. It just smells absolutely. The fermentation, the citrus. This one's more citrusy than piney. It's delicious. It smells formidable, like it's like an old friend that you haven't seen in a long time, and you just want to say hi. Hey, how you doing? That's my old best friend that we haven't talked in a long time. Those flavors melding together. The citrus hoppiness of this somewhat matches the Saga, but with a little more bright note. It's like the sunshine just kind of peeked out of the clouds, and all of a sudden there's a little more happiness in your life. What was cold and windy now seems a little more tolerable. Hey guys. Yes, this one is on the back end, hoppiest, right in the middle, with a little more malt and a little more toasted barley. And this guy here is just as hoppy as this one, but yet the sunshine seems to be peeking out a little more. It's just a little bit on the lighter end of things. I got a surprise, guys. I got a surprise. They have a brand new beer that's not been featured in this fair yet this year. I brought my assistant with me, Mario Mariani. Come over here. Hey guys, this is somebody that you might not see in every video, but he's behind the camera in almost every video that we do. Mario Mariani, I'm usually filming from his house, or from the guy that's holding the camera right now, which you'll see sometime in the future. I won't tell you his name until I introduce him. But Mario is bringing me here the Minnesota Great Get-Together is the state fair that we are at right now. The Minnesota Great Get-Together. Well, they created a beer this year, and it's called Sweat Together, because 95% of the time it's 95% humidity and 95 degrees out here when we're at the fair. Today's a little different story, so we usually call it the Great Minnesota Sweat Together. So they took that into heart and made a beer called Let's Sweat Together. All right, guys. This beer comes in at a whopping 85 IBUs. I don't think that I've ever heard of any more than that in the state of Minnesota. I don't even know if it's illegal around here. But I will say, yeah, you can tell. I can always tell with those higher IBUs. I don't even have to put my face anywhere near the glass. The wind's blowing like 100 miles an hour, and I can still, right here, I can smell it. It's just creeping out of there. Okay? This is called Sweat Together. This rolls in at an 8% IBV, 8% alcohol by volume. That's a pretty hefty beer. So, somebody already knocked into me earlier and spilled about a sixth of my beer, and I'm not all that happy about it. But you know what? Let's give it a good swirl here. Let's do it right. Oh, whoa. That's not right. That's alcohol abuse. That's not right. All right, hold on. Let's put a nose on it. God, it just keeps creeping out of the glass. I can say mango, apricot, citrus, and piney floral essence is just creeping out of this glass. It's absolutely delicious. Let's put a taste on it and see how it tastes. Wow. With the 85 IBUs, It's tart almost. It's almost too much for me. It is, and I don't think I've said that much. I usually say I like my IBUs between 70 and 80. I think that would ring true because 85 is tasting a little bit dry on my tongue. I almost feel like I should drink a glass of water after tasting this beer.
Good, are you guys?
8% alcohol. I can just feel it. It's not easy to drink. It's not a sociable beer. It's dribbling down the side of my lip because I can barely even like suck it into my mouth and swallow it. It's not that easy to drink. Guys, I think this might be the first time that I say that I've met my match with my hops. This might be too hoppy for me. This might be too much for my palate to enjoy. Which is good because you know what? Over time that you want to know what are your limits. What is too little, what is too much? This by far is too little, too much for my palate. It tastes delicious, but it's just too much. So, in this review, I'm going to say each and every one of these Summit beers, we have the Saga IPA, the Extra Pale Ale, and the Merger, they are going to take tops over this Bent Brewstillery beer, which is coming in at 8% ABVs and 85 IBUs. It's just a little too much for the palate to take. Even that bee is curious. Look at him. He doesn't want anything to do with that either. He doesn't want a thing to do with it. All right, guys, tell you what, I appreciate you joining me for this edition live from the Minnesota State Fair. Until next time, it's Aaron from the LC.